Greetings, everyone. This is Munawar Ali. I am back again, and today I am going to discuss SPSC Sindh Public Service Commission Lecturer in Mathematics 2024 paper. So, as I was doing last time, I'll be doing discussing 10 questions in each video because I don't want my videos to be too long, and I want people to be concentrating on each of the questions separately and just doing 10 questions, and in the next video doing 10 questions. So I think it gives me time to think about these questions and gives you time as well to just watch all the videos separately. Okay, so this was the exam which was held in this year, 2024. So I'm selecting this paper type D, which I got from somewhere. There are 50 questions in total, and there are 2 marks for each correct question, and there's a negative 0.5 mark for each incorrect question. The exam was held on May 2024, but it was originally scheduled on April 23rd, 2024. Okay, so without wasting much time, I'm going directly to the questions, and I'll be happy if you put some comments in the comment box, or if you have some suggestions, if you have some of the questions. And obviously this is SPSC exam, so there are many ambiguities, and there are many things which are not clear even to me as well, like what type of question is that, I don't know. Okay, so as you know, I also discussed the questions related to English. So I just followed the pattern in the exam and just copied all the questions over here. So the first question was related to English. It says that when she was in the university, she dash wake up early in the morning every day. So one thing I should mention that when she was in the university, this is the past tense. So to follow some laws of parallelism, I think in English, I want the second sentence to be in past as well. So you can see, technically it should be, she used to wake up early in the morning. This should be the answer. Like when she was in the university, she used to wake up early in the morning. So the other alternate for this should be option B, because I don't think option A is correct, because she should wake up. She should wake up. It means we are talking something about the present tense. So it doesn't make sense to me. She will wake up. Obviously, it's wrong. She would have. If it is would have, then this wake up should be the third form of this thing. Like she would have woke up or something like that. So this is incorrect as well. So would seems to me the correct option, whether this is correct or not, but I have excluded all other options. So this is the only left option. And yeah, so most of the times when you're talking about the questions in English, the questions related to helping verb, preposition, like these are like some sort of questions that are not following some fixed rules. So you have to just adjust yourself, and you have to see, okay, what options can you eliminate? Okay, so the second question is pretty simple, because you have to talk about, you have to give the opposite word to the word. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but it's something erudite or erudite. I don't know exactly. What should be the opposite of this word? So we have to look for the opposite. First of all, we should know what is the meaning of this word. So it's like having or showing knowledge. So a person having or showing knowledge. So it's something related to knowledge. So we have to find a word which is related to having no knowledge or having less knowledge or something like that. So the first option is professional. Obviously, it does not show no knowledge or less knowledge. Immature, so maturity is not related to what knowledge you have. It's something different. Unimaginative, so it's something different as well. So it's something that you cannot imagine or cannot be imagined. So it's the correct option is D, which is ignorant. So ignorant means showing less knowledge or showing no knowledge of something. So I think this was simple if you know some of the vocab. Okay, so third question is related to mathematics. So here comes the mathematics. So it says that, okay, one of the roots of this equation is 2, then the other roots are. So Here we can apply different methods to solve this question. There's not going to be any particular method that helps us here. So what I would do, I would apply one of the simplest methods to deal with this question. Maybe that method is not applicable for all types of questions like this, because it depends upon what is the structure of your question. What you can do, I'm not going for the simplest method, I'm going for the usual method, then I'll go for the simplest method. What is the usual method? Okay, apply some sort of synthetic division or other division methods to find out, okay, this is a cubic polynomial. So you just write the coefficient. The coefficient here is 1, and here is -6, and the coefficient for x is 11, and then -6, and divided by 2. So you apply some synthetic division rules. Okay, you take this one down, this one, and multiply with 2. 2 times 1 is 2, and you just add these two terms, whatever the result is. So it's going to be -4, and -4 multiplied by 2 is going to be -8, and 8 these two, 11 minus 8, 3. Then multiply 2 with 3, 2 times 3 is 6. -6, +6 gives you 0. This is the remainder. So this term completely divides this thing, and last 3 terms will give you, these remaining 3 coefficients will give you a quadratic equation, which is going to be like, one is going to be the coefficient of x square, which is x square, and -4 for x, and plus 3 equals 0. And you have to just solve this equation, and you can solve this equation because this is a quadratic equation. You can solve this easily by using quadratic formula or something else. And you will obviously get the roots to be 1 and 3. So I'm not going for a solution of this basic quadratic equation. Everyone knows, like, you can apply factorization or you can apply quadratic formula. So the remaining 2 roots for this cubic equation, because it's a cubic equation, it should have 3 roots, or 1 and 3, which is our answer, 1 and 3. So this is like the usual way which we should apply. But what am I doing now? I'm just erasing this all. Okay, so I'm erasing this all, and what am I doing? So you can see that the last term is 6. I'm ignoring signs for now because I don't need 6. So what I should have, the product of roots should be equal to 6. So one root is 2. You can see one root is 2. Other 2 roots should multiply together to give me 6. Now just see the options. 2 multiplied by option, check option D. If I take these 2 roots, multiply by 2, I won't get 6. So you can exclude, because 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. No. Even C is not giving me answer, D is not giving me answer. So the correct option should be A, because the roots are 1, 3, and the root given to us is 2, and their product is equal to 6. So this is one of the ways to deal with these type of questions. So here I applied what we call process of elimination. You can eliminate, and you can also check, okay, what's going to be the correct answer. And this is like not the correct method to apply for all the questions, but this is one of the simplest way. If you see that, okay, there is some sort of way to solve this question without solving itself thoroughly. So if there's another option which is given to you, -1 and -3, then the product of all of these is 6. You won't be able to get the correct answer. In this situation, you have to solve the problem. You have to solve the whole problem. So, like when I solve these questions, I also give many methods. Okay, you can do this, you can do this, or you can do all other methods that you have. And yeah, I also go in some surroundings of that particular topic, since this is just equation and root, so I don't need to explain it further. Okay, so question 4 seems like not a good question to me. The problem is you have given an equation in 2 variables, and you're asking, okay, what's going to be the equation in 3D? Okay, it makes sense when you are talking about a cylinder. The equation is x squared plus y squared equals to whatever the radius of the cylinder is, radius squared. So in this way, you can see, okay, you have a circle in 2D and you're taking it in 3D, so it becomes a cylinder. Okay, you can say that thing. But there's like, there can be this hyperbola in 3D, but it should be, I don't know exactly whether it should be or not. But if you see this figure is hyperbola in 2D that we know. So you have hyperbola in 2D and you just take it in 3D, it becomes like a sheet from one side, sheet from another side. So you have two lines, but these are two sheets like this, two sheets like this. I can show you, but to me, like, doesn't make any sense to me. So it's like a hyperbola. And cone has a different equation, x square over a square plus y square over b square minus z square over c square equals 0. Yeah. So the main idea is the option is a hyperbola and not a pair of lines. And there's a reason behind that one as well. Yeah. So just look at the basic formulas for these, all the things. What is the main difference is like in a cylinder and a cone, the coefficient of x square and y square is always same. Like either both of the coefficients are positive or both of the coefficients are negative. Like you can see x square and y square are positive, x square and y square are positive. The coefficient is positive. Okay, so, but in this case, which is given to us, it is x square minus y square equals a square, which is a hyperbola in 2D. And if you just map it to 3D, I don't know what type of mapping is that, but you can do that. So it's going to be a hyperbola in 3D. Okay, so this is not a good question. It shouldn't be there, but I don't know why. Okay, so here comes a very simple question. But again, the options are not okay to me because to me, like, okay, let's see what happens. So we have a set, and first of all, what should be the operation here? Operation is not defined, I think. Let me check. So operation is not defined. Yeah, yeah. So the problem is, should we go for addition or should we go for multiplication? Technically, it's multiplication. Yeah. So I'm not going for this lengthy discussion. So it's going to be multiplication 1 minus 1 I minus I and 1 minus 1 I minus I. Obviously, let me make it like this. Okay, let me use the same color. 1 minus 1 I minus I minus 1 I minus I, and this is going to be 1 negative I and I and negative I and minus 1 and 1 and I 1 and minus 1. So you can see that since all of these numbers belong to this set, nothing is outside. So first property, which is I think closure one, is satisfied. And if you want to check associativity, you can also check this property easily. Like A times B times C is same as A times B times C. You can check this thing. Okay, how about identity? One is identity. If you multiply one to anything, you get the same thing. Okay, so you have third thing as well, which is identity, and there's inverses of every element as well. Like for I, what should be the number so that I when I multiply to I get 1. So what should I multiply with I to get 1? You just go in this row and check it's going to be 1. So it's negative I. So the multiplicative inverse of I is negative I, which is given here. Yeah, so we can do this thing. So we can say that fourth property is also satisfied, which is an identity. So I'm just taking all the properties. Then we'll decide, okay, what should be the correct option. Now what am I doing? Since option D is abelian, So abelian is like commutativity. AB is equal to BA, and you can check this thing. 1 times minus 1, same as minus 1 times 1. So it's not an issue. And I think how we can check 1 times I is I, and I times 1 is I. So I think you can see this in this, what do you call, symmetric property in this diagram. Then you can decide, okay, so along this line, you can see that negative I, negative I, negative I, 1, 1, minus I, minus I. So this is symmetric. So obviously there should be this abelian property. And you can also check cyclic property, okay? Like there should be one element, which is I in this case, and each of the elements is some power of I. Like I to the 1 is I to the 2 is minus 1, which belongs to this set, I to the 3 is negative I, which also belongs, and I to the 4 is going to be 1, which are these basic properties of this number I. So you can see that, like, seemingly it's an abelian group because all the group properties are satisfied, abelian group properties are satisfied. It's also a cyclic group because there is a generator of the group, which is I. And it's a semi-group as well because it satisfies the properties of a semi-group, which is closure and associativity. These are two properties. When satisfied, we call it a semi-group. It's a subgroup, which is like, okay, it's good, it's okay. It's a group of itself, but like for a subgroup, you should have a notion subgroup of what. So it doesn't make sense to me. So these three options are correct. You can see that, okay, this question is not a good question. So I don't know what is happening there. Maybe you can check if we do addition, then what should be, like, do we have an identity or we don't have an identity, which is 0. So I'm not good at groups, so but I'm telling you, okay, you can check by yourself. There's no 0, so you cannot talk about, okay, it's not a cyclic group, it's not an abelian group, it's a semi group. Yeah. You don't have closure property because 1 and minus 1, if they are added, they get 0, and you don't have 0 here. So yeah, you cannot talk about addition here. So correct options should be, to me, C and D, because, like, okay, semi-group is good as well. So we're not discussing further on this equation and this question. I think you got the whole idea. Okay, this question is pretty simple. If you are given a homogeneous equation like this, then we can convert it into an equation with variables which can be separated by which of the following substitutions. So this is a pretty standard substitution. We don't need to, like, solve something, do something. If you know, we know. If you don't know, we don't know. That's it. So what I do, I write this quotient y by x equals some b. This is my transformation. I use this thing. And this is pretty standard. Then you can say that, okay, the transformation is y is equal to vx, which is option A. So this is standard transformation. You don't need to think about, okay, what should be the correct option. So you take a homogeneous equation, you check all the options. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You should know what's the transformation. And there's a way to understand this thing. Like, you should know what are homogeneous equations. And there is this Euler's theorem for the degree of homogeneous equations. You can apply those things as well. Okay. Without wasting much time, let's go to question 7. Question 7 says that the mode of the numbers, okay, the numbers are given to you, you have to find the mode. So the mode is the most repeated number. Most repeated number. You can see that 7 is repeated here 3 times and 11 is repeated here 3 times. This is an issue because one of them should be the most repeated number. If there are two numbers which are repeated with the same frequency, you can consider these both to be the mode of the data. So correct option should be 7 and 11. So there are some easy questions which you can find in this test. Yeah. Okay. Here comes a question from calculus. You're given a function which is continuous, good, and it's real valued, okay. Continuous, good functions, such that this happens. You have to find the value of C. I think it should be simple. What should I do? Okay, so we have 3x to the 5 plus 96 equals C integration from C to x, f of y dy. So what I'll do, I'll try to find out what the function is. So to find the function, I have to differentiate both sides. So if I differentiate from the left-hand side, it's pretty simple. I think it's going to be 5 times 15 next to the 4. I don't remember most of the rules of differentiation and integration, but I'm trying my best. Okay, I think it's 15x to the 4, and constant differentiation is 0. And if you differentiate right-hand side, you can apply this, what we call second fundamental theorem of calculus. I think if you have some, let me say, if you have some a of x and b of x and some f of y dy, and what happens if you differentiate with respect to x? You evaluate f at upper limit, which is b of x, and multiplied by the derivative of b, minus you evaluate f at the lower limit, which is a of x, and multiplied by the derivative of the lower limit. And yeah, and there's an extension of this theorem as well, but I don't want to quote it here. So I'm going to evaluate f at x multiplied by the derivative of x, which is 1, minus evaluate f at c, derivative of c, which is 0. So this term vanishes. So f of x multiplied by 1 is f of x. So I get that f of x is equal to 15x to the 4. So this is my f of x. Pretty simple. Now I can do this thing, 3x to the 5 plus 96 equals integration c to x. F of x is 15x to the 4, so f of y is 15, 5 to the 4 dy. So I just put the value of the function and evaluate and see what's going to be the value of c. That's it. So if I integrate, this is going to be add 1 to the power, divide the power, so it's going to be y to the 5, divide by 5, it's 3y5, evaluated from c to x. So it's going to be, okay, put the upper limit, but it's going to be 3x to the 5 minus put the lower limit, 3c to the 5. Now you can see from both sides, I can cancel 3x to the 5, 3y to the 5. So then I have minus 3c to the 5 equals 96. I can divide by -3, so it will give me 3 negative 32. Okay. And if I get the fifth root, I'll get the value of c to be -2. Okay, I think it should be correct. Maybe you can check it further if there's any mistake. Okay, so just differentiate, apply fundamental theorem, put the value of the function, and integrate and cancel out the values to get the value of c. There might be other simpler ways. I don't know exactly. There might be. There might be many ways. Okay. So this is the question related to eigenvalues. In short, I call those e-values. So we are given a matrix, a values -y and x minus 1. We have to find out, okay, what's going to be the value of y. Okay, so let me define two things maybe. One is the trace of a matrix. So the trace of this matrix, let's say, let me call it M, is the sum of the entries on the diagonal. So it's going to be 2 minus 1, which is 1. Trace, sorry. Okay, so trace is the sum of the entries on the diagonal. And determinant, you know very well what is going to be the determinant. So determinant is 2 times -1 minus 3 times x, which is -2, -3x. So this is determinant and this is trace. And these are eigenvalues, -y and x minus 1. Now the property is, if you add these eigenvalues plus x minus 1, it's equal to the trace. And if you multiply these eigenvalues, it is equal to the determinant. Okay. The sum of the eigenvalues is equal to the trace. The product of the eigenvalues is equal to the determinant. So you can see I got two equations, two variables, x and y. Solve those, get the value of x and y, you're done. There are other ways to deal with this question, but to me, like this is the simplest. Yes, done. Okay. So we want the value of x. What should we do? Okay. Let me find the value of y from here and put it in the second equation. I'm done. So the value of y is negative. It's going to be x minus 1 is y. So y is going to be x minus 2. Y is going to be x minus 2. Put it in this equation. X minus 2, x minus 1, minus 2, minus 3x. I'm going to cancel this minus from both sides, so it's going to be plus. You can do this. And if I multiply these, this is going to be x squared minus 3x plus 2, and this is going to be 2 plus 3x. And if I take these to other side, this is going to be minus 2 minus 3x equals 0. So it's x squared minus 3x minus 3x minus 6x. 2 minus 2 cancel. So this is a quadratic equation. You can solve this by taking x common. So the values of x is 0 and 6. So obviously, since 0 is not there, the value of x should be 6. So apply it this way. The sum of the eigenvalues is equal to the trace. This is the trace. This is the sum equal to trace, which comes from here that I found. Trace is the sum of the elements along the diagonal. This way, or this way, maybe, how you see it. And the product of E values is equal to the determinant of the matrix. Okay. So I'm going to discuss the last question, and then I'll discuss other questions in other videos. Like I will discuss 10 questions in each video. Okay. So it says that what is the area of the region bounded by the coordinates axis and the line tangent to the graph of this equation at the point 0, 1. So I have to find out, okay, what is the tangent of this curve at this point? And you know very well, like it's very simple idea, like you have to find out what is the equation of a straight line. And you know very well, if I apply point slope form, it's going to be y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And you know very well, x1 and y1 are given to me because if I have a line and I am given a point, I should find out, okay, the equation of this tangent line. This is the tangent line. I want its equation. That's it. I want only the equation of this line. Okay, so for this, I'll put the value of y1, which is minus 1. I need the value of m only. X times x1 is 0. And m is the slope of the tangent line at that point. And you know very well, the slope of the tangent line at that point is equal to the slope of the curve at that point. That's it. So I have to find out the slope, and you know very well the slope is the derivative. So I need to differentiate this equation which is given to me. And differentiation is like, you know the rules. It's 2/3 x plus 1/2. And obviously I have to evaluate this thing at this point 0, 1. So I'm evaluating this thing at this point 0, 1. It means the value of x is 0 and the value of y is 1. If I put x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1. So I don't have y, I don't put y. So I put only x, I get 1/2 if I put 0 here. Okay. So this is the value of m, which is slope. So this is like how you define m. So which is 1/2. This is my equation, simple. If I simplify this further, I'll get y equals 1/2 x plus 1. This is my equation. So what is the key idea here? So you have this coordinate axis, this is y-axis, this is x-axis. You have to find out where does this line cut x-axis and y-axis. So what you need to do, if you put x is equal to 0, it means the value of y is going to be 1. So it cuts y-axis at 1, means here. And if you put y is equal to 0, it will give you the value of x. You just do this thing. Put y is equal to 0 here. So you can see that the value of the x that you get is going to be -2. So it's going to be -1, -2. Here, -2. So now this is the line. This is the line. And this curve would be something like this. This curve would be something like this. I don't know exactly how it is, but it touches this line at this point. So these are the coordinate axes, this one and this one. So you have to find out the area of this triangle. So this asks what is the area of the region bounded by the coordinate axis. Coordinate axis means xy and this line. So this is the area. You have to find what's the area. And you don't need to apply any technical formulas. Just do one thing. This height is equal to 1 and this base is equal to 2. So it's like 2 is the base, 1 is the height, and this is the triangle. So the formula is base times height divided by 2. 2 times 1 divided by 2, which is equal to 1. So it's going to be option C. Yeah, so the questions are pretty simple, pretty not standard. So in the next video, we'll discuss next 10 questions and we'll go ahead like this. Till then, bye.